Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're looking to get funded, we've got a solution for you. Our partnered prop firm FX2 Funding helps traders get access to up to $200,000 in trading capital. FX2 Funding is not your average prop firm. We've chosen them as our partner because of their fair examination rules, their professional and available customer service, and they have an outstanding reputation in the prop firm space. Here's a quick look at their evaluation process. First, they don't have a time limit on their evaluations. That means that you can take your time when passing your evaluation. There's no pressure to rush your trading. Second, there is only one phase to pass in their evaluation before getting access to your funded account. Also, their evaluation fees are fairly priced and fully refundable upon passing. Once you're funded, you'll be able to keep up to 85% of your trading profits. Finally, a rule we know swing traders will love: you can hold your positions over the weekend. For a limited time, get 15% off any of their account challenges with promo code A1Trading15. That's 15% off any account challenge with code A1Trading15. If you're ready to get funded, we're dropping a link in the chat right now, and you can also find it in the description down below. So go ahead and get signed up today for 15% off with promo code A1Trading15. Now, back to the show.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another live stream here back in the office and taking a look at markets. We're coming into it is Wednesday, of course, but in the second half of this week, things start to really heat up. I'm joined by James, the reporter here. What's going on, James, and what's on our radar today?
Hey, so I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today, Nick?
Good.
So we've been talking about it all week. CPI is happening tomorrow, and it'll be really, really interesting to see how that report comes out, because it's currently forecasted to raise. Inflation is expected to have raised, and that'll be the first time that the inflation rate has actually gone up in a few months, especially since the Fed began that rate hike cycle. But today is Wednesday, and as you can see here on my screen, Wednesday, August 9th, just really not a whole lot of stuff going on here. A couple Japanese yen, pound dollar, euro, Canadian dollar, US dollar. We do have things happening, but just nothing that noteworthy in market moving. Tomorrow, obviously, like I just mentioned, we do have CPI as well as unemployment claims. So that is going to be a big stream. So do not miss out. That is going to be at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So a little bit of an early stream tomorrow. And Friday, we do have a few other things to take a look at as well. We have PPI numbers as well as preliminary consumer sentiment. And we also have GDP numbers coming out in the UK. That'll be at 2 a.m. So we will be asleep, but it'll be interesting to see what the GDP numbers are in the morning when we get on stream and start talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. It should be like I said, a very busy second half of this week. Inflation numbers will be really market moving. And of course, we will have some coverage for that. James, thank you for the quick report there. And we will catch up more with you later. By the way, guys, just before James leaves, he put out his first trade ever video. And if you haven't seen it, if you're watching the A1 Trading YouTube channel, after this live stream, make sure to go check out that video. You can subscribe to A1 Trading on YouTube. It is our other channel other than my own channel, and definitely worth a watch to check out James go through his first trade ever. So, James, thanks for the show.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. So we have this is the video right here, my first trade ever. But also go check out this video right here. A1 Trading presents the office trading competition. If you are unfamiliar with what we have just started this week, we are doing an in-office trading competition between the 6 of us in the office who are not traders. Yep. So that's right. Nick and Frank are our in-house, in-office traders. You guys are more than familiar with Nick and Frank, but you may not be as familiar with Julie, Emily, Hallie, Drew. I know you guys know Chandler and myself, but the 6 of us are competing in a trading competition the entire month, and we are filming and documenting, and we are going to release the first update video. So everything that happened throughout this week, Monday through Thursday. All of that is going to come out on Friday.
Yep.
And that'll happen next Friday and the Friday after that, as well, as we continue on in this trading competition. But as a little sneak preview of what to expect from that, yeah, I released my my first trade ever right here. So that was a fun experience. But be on the lookout for that. Go check out that video. Go check out this video as well, and be on the lookout for the very first trading competition update on Friday.
And there you go. Well, thanks, James, for that update, and we'll catch up with you in just a bit. We're going to jump now into some charts and see if we can find something here to look at here today. I wanted to start where a lot of the currency traders, as well as, surprisingly, the index traders should be looking, which is the dollar index. If you're watching the dollar index right now, there's some questions on traders' mind. I'm looking at the 1 hour chart, and what you can see here is that we've been kind of trailing off of this recent bullish momentum. Overnight, we saw the dollar continue to kind of move lower, popped up here in the early London session. And now the question is, where are we going to be left off? Well, here's something to note about the dollar. The dollar is coming back down into a level of support. And if you're a bear, you want to see this support level break. I am a bear. So if you can't already tell, I am a dollar bear at this time. But we have to be very careful. We have CPI and PPI coming out. These numbers will certainly impact the US dollar, whether positive or negative, I don't know. But I'm watching to look for breakouts either direction. So let me clarify what I mean by that. So I'm going to mark up some charts here, guys, or mark up some levels on the dollar that I'm watching. This is a 1 hour chart. So what I'm really interested in is notably, so I've been teaching actually my sister for part of this competition, my sister Julie, who does a lot of our marketing. She's in the competition, and I've been talking to her a little about chart markup. She asked some questions about how to mark up zones. And what I said is that when you're looking at a chart, what you want to do is avoid analysis paralysis, right? You don't need to mark up every single little bit of this chart, because what's going to start happening is you're just going to confuse yourself. Instead, what I suggested to her, and what I think, what I do personally, is I mark the clear and obvious parts of this chart. You can see this was our previous top for the US dollar index off of the 1 hour chart. If we broke higher, that would be bullish. Now, this level, however, past resistance, became a huge level of support. But if that level breaks out, I would consider that to be very bearish. Now, fundamentals add a layer of perhaps confusion to newer traders, but I use fundamentals to help me find better setups. And right now, I believe personally that the dollar index is overall poised to go lower based on the fundamentals. Will I be right about that? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not right all the time. And as I like to say, I'm a trader, not a magician. Sometimes people get the two confused. New traders think that professional traders know what the markets are going to do all the time, and that is so far from the truth. Professional traders don't know what the market's going to do. They risk accordingly, and they bet with probabilities in their favor, not with certainties, right? That's the difference. That's the difference between what people think profitable trading is and what it actually is. So anyways, when I look at the dollar index here, like I said, we got a nice rejection here. I'm very curious to see if we can actually break through this level of support. And if we do, I'll possibly be looking to add to trades that I already have on. But let's see how this is impacting a trade that I have, which is the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ is back to about break even for me. I entered this trade yesterday. After we started to get a really nice kind of spring off of the lows here, I decided to go ahead and re-enter into this long position. Now this trade, if I'm being time frame specific, I took this mostly off of the daily chart and looking for a longer term uptrend continuation. So I think we've come back to a key level of support. And again, we're looking at the daily chart, and I'm marking the key levels only on this chart. So when price came back to this key level, I'm overall bullish, both technically and fundamentally. I'll show more of that in just a moment. I like it long. Now, will I be right about this? Again, don't overestimate me or anyone else on social media. No one that you follow, not one single person, is always right about the markets, right? Everybody takes losses. Everybody is wrong sometimes. So it's very possible that the NASDAQ trade here could just not work out. And if it does break out of this support level, I'm going to manage my risk and I'm going to stop out of this position. That is my game plan for the NASDAQ at this time. It's at a key daily level. I'm looking at CPI coming out tomorrow, and I'm saying it better react to this level. And if it doesn't, I don't want to be a part of this trade anymore, and I'll take my loss. So that's where I'm at. Again, daily chart level still looks intact. We'll keep an eye on this one to see if that level breaks. If the previous low breaks, I'm going to cut my trade. All right. So what else is on the radar here? Well, first of all, let me just take a quick moment to mention. So this is a trade that I took, and I actually shared this update to members within our Discord community. So real quick, I'm just going to show you guys. This is what our Discord looks like. If you're not already in our Discord channel, you can see that I dissect every single trade with full breakdowns, why I'm taking it, so on and so forth. So if you guys are not already inside of the VIP Discord, I want to make sure you know that right now we are doing 25% off of our Discord memberships. Well, actually, let me correct that. We're actually doing 20% off, but for people who are in the live stream here with us right now, if you are watching live, there's going to be a link dropped in the chat. And if you click that link, you'll be connected to someone on our team who can actually get you 25% off. The reason I want to mention this because this week is very busy. We're going to be trading a good bit this week. We have CPI tomorrow, PPI on Friday. There's going to be some big moves in the markets, and we are looking to trade that action. If you'd like to join us inside of the group, now is the time to join. Send us a direct message by messaging us with this link. This link will take you to a real person on my staff who can help set you up with a membership within our community. So by joining this group, you're going to get access to all of the trades that I am taking, full transparency, win or loss, with explanations behind every single trade. This is not a traditional signal service where I just tell you what to buy, tell you what to sell. Instead, it's a service where I share essentially my trading journal. We also have Frank who does the same thing. You can see over here, this is Frank's section. This is my section. So we're sharing all of our trades and full breakdowns. So if you'd like to get text notifications whenever we take trades, join the Discord VIP group that is being dropped in the chat right now. So again, if you message us, you get 25% off. So don't miss out on that. So again, I'm watching NASDAQ. I'm keeping an eye on this one. Let's take a look at gold. I've also been pretty bullish on gold recently, but not so much now, right? So the chart looks really, really ugly. We continue to see sellers come in and push this market lower. So for now, I don't really have a bullish bias. However, what I'd be looking for would be breakouts. If we start to see breakouts on this chart, I'd be perhaps interested in trying to go long again on this one. But right now, technicals are looking very, very bearish and will probably keep me from taking trades anytime soon. So real quick, guys, we're going to bring in Frank. I want to ask Frank what he's looking at. We'll probably just do a couple minutes. Before we do, we're going to just take a quick break and thank our sponsors. We'll come right back and hear what Frank is trading. You guys will see any trades that he is currently in or watching. I think he's trading some currency pairs. So we'll come back to Frank in just a moment. Stick with us and we'll be right back.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're interested in getting free access to the EDGEFINDER or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now back to the A1 Trading Show.
All right, and we are back. What's up, Frank? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Was I right about, are you trading currency pair? Is it NZDJPY? Is that a trade?
Yeah, Kiwi yen right now. That was for the inflation news, which came out higher actually for Kiwi, which was somewhat promising for me. I'll pull up the chart. I got in around, let me see what price it was. Like 86,548. So slightly in profit, not huge, but just hoping to ride things back up to this double top here around 88 and see where things go from there. But, you know, looking at two very different central banks, I feel like the RBNZs, now that they've seen a recent rise in inflation, could be concerning for them. Maybe they'll want to keep rates higher for longer, or maybe even hike again. But they're doing what the BOJ is not doing. So that's why I like this pair to the long side.
Sure. And anything else you're watching? Are you looking at gold still? Are you looking at anything else?
I'm not really looking at gold right now. I'm in oil. I'm planning on riding that as long as I can. I've been very aggressive on the trails, as
Nice.
in maybe is it aggressive or conservative? I'm keeping the trailing distance very large because I want to see how this trade runs. But yeah, so COT's buying this up, or Smart Money's buying this up, and just broke new highs. So I'm happy to be in this trade and hoping to, just hold on to this for a while
Yeah,
while I look
that's
for
a really
setups.
solid move, Frank. Where did you get in on oil?
Let's see, 80.8.
Dang, that's really good. So you got that. Is it that wick on the daily chart that's right there, the second to last candle? Did you get in on that one, or did you get in a couple days before that?
Wait, when did I buy this? Let me look again. It was yesterday.
Okay,
So
perfect. Nice.
let's
You got
see,
that
80 point
that nice
whatever.
wick that shot up in your favor.
Yeah, it was at this trend line kind of support. It was starting to bounce off, so I thought I would try to see a retest at the highs, which it thankfully ended up doing. So now I'm just trying to hold on as long as I can.
Cool. And if I show my screen, I'm spying on your trade alerts here for a second, Frank. So so you bought US oil 80.80, put the stop just below that structure, take another long trade on oil after this setup. As we approach China's inflation later today, oil's been considerable, has seen a considerable pullback. Very cool. Tightening supply of the commodity and demand from smart money last week could suggest higher oil prices. And I like that. I think for those of you guys who watch COT data, Frank is your guy. He of course, there's two parts to that. Frank obviously trades his own money and does his own thing, but he also is behind the scenes building the software tools that we build here at A1 Trading, which are surrounding a lot of COT stuff. And so he's always got a close eye on the COT data. So I hadn't even really looked at oil recently, but it's not something we usually trade, is it, Frank?
No, not really. But in the commodities world, gold was not looking that great. And then oil saw just a huge bias leaning towards the bull side for the past couple of weeks. So I thought, maybe it's time to actually get in this before it takes off again. So that pullback is where I wanted to get in.
Yeah, I mean that's an awesome catch. I'm super jealous. Very very nice trades there, Frank. So you've got Kiwi yen long, you've got oil long. I've got NAS long. So these are kind of our positions collectively. Is there anything else you're watching closely, or are you just pretty much managing those two trades?
Yeah, I really want to get into the indices again.
Okay.
But they're just selling off so hard because of the China CPI news, and there was recent credit ratings that were bad. So just really not a lot of good news in the market right now. So I put a marker down here on the NASDAQ around close to 15K. It's 14,982. If it can come down here, maybe. But these are just some kind of bearish candles. Like nothing wants to stay where they're at. And yesterday's rejection wasn't very strong, and today's just looking like a hammer to the downside. So I think I'm gonna wait maybe, but it all depends on what I see on this time frame, or I guess 1 hour, 4 hour, but we'll see.
Fair enough. Well, cool. Thank you, Frank, for sharing. We're gonna keep moving on and chugging along. So thank you for coming on, sharing what you've got, and we'll catch up with you later.
Thank you.
All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Frank, he is a man of straightforwardness, and I think everyone can appreciate that. It's always good to have Frank on the show. He's right to the point, and honestly, I need that in my life to balance me out sometimes because I go off on tangents like every 30 seconds. Anyways, let's take a look at some currency pairs here. Euro dollar. Quick look at euro dollar here. 4-hour chart has been tough. Sellers have been just kind of in control here. And this makes sense, right? We've seen a lot of dollar strength recently. And so you can see each attempt to go higher for the euro has been met with a lot of resistance, right? We go sideways, pop up again, sellers back in this market. If you're a bull, we always point this out. If you're a bull, you want to see that behavior probably stop. So if you guys are watching Euro USD and you're saying, I'm bullish on euro dollar, again, you probably want to start seeing some of these levels of resistance start becoming levels of support. At least that's how I would approach this. So even if I'm trading like off the hourly chart, like I could say, okay, well, I'm still looking for this structural kind of downtrend to break out. So if we get like a big pop, right? Breakouts, pullbacks, breakouts, pullbacks. If we start seeing that behavior, then hey, maybe your bulls are in control. But if you're watching euro dollar and you're saying, well, sellers are just in control, the path of least resistance, in my opinion, right now is still down, right? The euro dollar very well could put in another leg lower. I mean, again, we scroll out of this chart and we say, okay, sellers very well could just come right back to these lows. And if you get the breakout of those lows, again, sellers are still in control. So I never try and take an approach to this as, oh, I'm going to anticipate this is going to break out. Because again, until it does break out, sellers have control here. And what sellers have control means is that I think that path of least resistance is down for the time being. Okay. That would be my take on Euro USD. Am I going to short it? I have to actually take a close look at this. There's a possibility. So overall, Euro USD does actually have a bearish bias. So again, if I was to sell this, which if I do take it, I'll take it inside of the Discord. I might be interested. If I was short bias, what I'd be thinking would be, again, stops above this structure because I would want to see that behavior hold. If I'm a bear, I want to see behavior continue to be bearish. I don't want to see this thing breaking out. And if it does break out, I personally, for me, that would mean cut my trade. So Euro USD, really interesting here. It's hitting that trend line. If I'm being really picky, I think I might actually wait. See, because here's the thing. If I sell it right here, I have to put a 66 pip stop loss, which is fine. But if I try and wait and be picky, especially with CPI on the horizon, I think I probably get to tighten up my risk reward. Look at this. Now I'm down to 40 pip risk. So I actually kind of like this. I think there may be an opportunity here to play some of this short-term dollar strength. Again, the EDGEFINDER is giving us a nice sell bias. So I like that extra bias. Overall, we're getting a lot of economic figures favoring the USD over the euro right now. Trend is clearly to the downside. Seasonal trends suggest that the month of August is bearish. We can pull that data up to take a closer look. So if I look at this, here's euro USD. It's already pulled up. The last 5-year average is just slightly negative for the euro dollar. What this is telling us is that it takes the data for the last 10 years and it says, hey, what does it typically do? So some more obvious examples would be like September and October, which in these months, we historically have seen in the last 10 years, an average down months, plural, right? There's been a lot of bearishness during those months. Right now, honestly, there's not too much of a bias here. It's pretty mixed, but slightly negative bias. When looking at the Euro USD, the month of August is slightly bearish, okay? So again, I kind of like that. I actually don't hate the idea of looking at Euro USD shorts personally, perhaps on a retest. Now, again, I'm probably going to be picky if I take a trade because we have CPI and I'm not opposed to taking trades before CPI. It just has to be good trades, right? Trades that I really, really want to take. I'm not going to force anything ahead of a big news event. But because I'm a swing trader, I don't mind taking trades because my stop loss is wide enough. Let's say, CPI moves 50 pips. From here, that would just bring here or here. It's not like I'm day trading and my stop loss is 5 pips or 7 pips and that CPI news is going to destroy me, right? I'm swing trading. So my stop loss and size is appropriate for that. So anyways, yeah, I am watching Euro USD. I actually don't hate that. I also have been keeping a close eye on the Australian dollar against the US dollar. A rally in this one for me would probably mean a selling opportunity. I might actually So I've got this level here where we previously saw a lot of selling resistance. So if we do get a pop up on Aussie dollar or Euro dollar, we've got some downtrends here that I kind of want to participate in. So I'll keep tabs on that. And again, if I do take that trade, you guys will get notified directly of Frank and I's trades inside of the Discord channel. I mentioned this earlier, and I know that if you've been watching the whole stream, you're going to hear me say this again, so I apologize. But if you have not heard already, we are doing 25% off for people who are watching the live stream right now. If you're not already in our community, we offer one-time payment options, which means you can join our Discord and stick around for good. Stay in the community for the long term. You don't have to pay us monthly or anything like that. All you have to do to get access to that 25% off sale before it ends is click this link to have a direct message conversation with someone on our staff right now. So this is a real person on my team who will help get you set up with a membership. And again, it is 25% off, and we do offer one-time payments, meaning you don't have to pay us consistently. We just put this price tag on. Obviously, of course, it's a business. We make money from this, but also that price tag keeps serious traders in and unserious ones out. Our chat room is not spammy. It's not lazy. It's not people just trying to get rich quick. It's real traders dedicated to this craft who have a similar mindset. So if you'd like to join this genuine community, if you'd like to be a part of it, click that link, and I hope to meet some of you guys in there later today. It should be a very busy week with CPI and PPI on the horizon. So again, shoot us a message if you have not already with that link that's in the chat right now. So I do like again, it's a couple dollar pairs, not something that I thought I would be trading here today, but again, the setups are there, and I do kind of like them. If we get a little bit of a squeeze to the upside on some of these dollar crosses, I'm kind of interested. So again, indices, I've traded a lot of indices recently here, but again, I'm pretty much at my last attempt on the NASDAQ. So for now, I mean, I've taken a trade here. I've taken another trade in here. Both of those did not work out. So I am watching here for this as my final attempt to be long. If this market structure does not hold, that's going to be a signal for me to go ahead and get out of the way and stay on the sidelines for the indices for now. So a couple things I'm watching: Euro USD, AUD USD, NAS 100. Right. These are kind of my watch list. Frank mentioned he is watching NZDJPY. He's long oil, which I'm super jealous of. Frank called out an oil trade yesterday. Frank is a very modest guy, so sometimes I have to brag on his behalf. Frank literally caught like this, right? He got in there at 80.8, which is about right there. So Frank caught that entry and has been riding that today. So this is a daily chart. So if we bring this down to like the 1 hour chart, you could see, look at how ginormous that candle is. He caught like right there, which is just a crazy, crazy catch. Frank is like I said, he's a very modest, very nice, simple man, and long-term, very close friend of mine. So proud of him for catching that trade. That is beautiful. And I'm a little bit jealous, if I'm being so honest. I wish I caught that oil move. Anyways, I'll catch the next one. That's the way we think. Sometimes it's always one or the other. Sometimes Frank has great trades running. Sometimes I have great trades running. It's a very unique experience. I know how rare it is because for many years I didn't trade with anybody else like in the room with me. But Frank and I now trade together every day in the same office. So it's cool. It's a really cool experience. And again, we share everything that we're doing throughout the day inside of the Discord, so you guys can keep up with us throughout the New York session, as well as I do a little Asian session trading as well. So, and then London session, we have Ivan. So we have pretty much round the clock market coverage going on. All right. So pound USD moving the same direction. Let's see, pound USD 4 hour chart. I just don't like this chart as much. Ivan pointed out that he kind of likes bullishness if we get breakouts. I would agree. Like if you get a breakout here, maybe there's something there, right? But what I don't love about the bearish side is that, look at this daily chart. This is pretty rough, right? Huge level of support just got tagged, and we have seen some reaction there. So I don't love the pound USD as much as like the Euro USD. You could make the point, we might be hitting some support on Euro, like we have a little bit of this, but you can see it's not clearly as strong since, look, we saw the euro dollar. Sure, it came down to a level of support, but it hasn't bounced clean off of it like the pound has, right? The pound has held levels of support very, very well. The euro seems to be struggling with it, and actually sellers are pretty dang strong at that very same level now. So euro, I'm more bearish on personally. USDJPY, what do you think? Let's look at dollar yen. Dollar yen looks real strong in the daily. Look at this, higher lows. You've got these higher lows coming into this market. I love these arrows, by the way. The arrows is a really cool indicator on TradingView. It's so like easy to point out something that you're looking at. Yeah, higher lows. This chart does look like it wants to head back to previous highs. It might take some time. And again, CPI on the horizon could change everything, but watch for breakouts here, breaks, retests. This is a daily chart, of course. So if we time frame, so if you're watching dollar yen, guys, you've got support here. You've got resistance up ahead. So if you're watching this, right, you kind of have like a little bit of like a flag concept going on, right? Big move, consolidation. Question will be breaks. Can buyers get a hold of it and push that thing back up? So lots of stuff setting up, guys. There's a lot of setups that I think could be really good for tomorrow and Friday. If I was to guess, I think we're going to be very busy next few days on the trading side. So be on the lookout for that for sure. And again, like I said, you can keep up with everything we're doing inside of the Discord. The link is in the description. And if you'd like to sign up for VIP alerts to get actual trades sent directly to your phone, click the link that's in the chat right now. And that way you can sign up for the alerts. Again, Frank and I are sharing everything we're doing tomorrow and Friday. So if you'd like to be in on the action, like to see the calls that we're making, join us. Click this link, message us, find out more information. All right, guys, we're going to bring in Mr. FX Big Dog here in just a second. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back after that, and we're going to check in with Gary to see what he is looking at ahead of CPI tomorrow. Many of you guys know Gary's a great guy, and I always look forward to hearing his commentary. So we'll be right back with Gary in just a minute. Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're looking to connect with other traders around the globe, consider joining our Discord community. Inside of the group, you'll be able to join our chat rooms, check out our educational material, our coaching webinars, and more. Within the group, our top traders share their trade alerts, which will send notifications to your phone or desktop whenever we take a trade. Our trade alerts come with entries, exits, and full analysis with every trade shared. This is not a blind copy signal service, but instead offers an educational way of looking over the shoulder of our experienced team. For fans of the show, we're offering major discounts for a limited time. To claim your discount now and join the group, click the link that's just been dropped in the live chat, which will connect you to one of our trained support reps here at A1 Trading. Again, click the link that's just been dropped or find the link in the description of this live stream and you'll be connected with someone right away. Now, back to the A1 Trading Show. Back and now joined by the one and only Mr. FX Big Dog. Hey Gary, how are you?
Nick, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Did you enjoy your vacation? I see the hair's got all long. I mean, what's happened?
The hair's getting too long. I got slightly darker. I fortunately didn't burn down in your neck of the woods. Well, not really. I was actually, Gary, I was in Destin. Is that anywhere near you?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, I'm Clearwater, so it's okay. Not. Yeah, it's close enough.
Cool. Yeah, no, spent some time there. It was good, but it is also good to be back, especially on a busy week like this. We've got CPI tomorrow, so I didn't want to miss it. So, Gary, I've gone through a lot of setups here this morning already. I'd love to pass the torch a little to you and see what you're looking at here ahead of CPI. Are you watching any dollar pairs, yen pairs? What's on your radar?
Absolutely. Dollar pairs are definitely on the radar at the moment right now. And so the question here is, how's the CPI number going to come out this week? Because we did have on the 12th of July, we had CPI numbers come out 1% lower than the previous. It was lower than forecast. So it was crazy. We went back and looked at the CPI number and we looked at see how the market reacted. And we had a downside move in the dollar. clearly it would be a downside move, right? Anytime CPI comes out lower, especially with them still raising rates, because they just come off a 25% interest rate hike, and with them seeing the interest rate or at least inflationary starting to slow down, that becomes a concern at what speed it slows down. And I think that's where the concern is, and that's why we've seen a downside with the dollar. Now, again, this week we have data coming out. They're expecting a 3.3%. Previous it was at 3%. So I'm going to say that if we see a shocker and the CPI number does come out much lower than the 3%, which means 2.9 and lower, it's going to be a crazy ride. So the question here is, and I know some might say no, it's going to come out as expected, maybe even a little higher. Well, the question here is that what does the technicals tell us? Because I can't make predictions on data, but I can make predictions on the technicals. And so I always go back to the technicals and say, does the data line up to what I'm anticipating in the market? And so I've got the US dollar JPY open. Before I go there, let's just go to the dollar index for a minute here and take a look at the dollar index. And if we look over here, the dollar index, and I'll look at the wave structure. The dollar index is struggling to break above that high right here. And so we see this as a wave 1, 2, and a wave 3, which means that we're in a wave 4. This is the thing that we have to understand. Wave 4 is the most complicated wave, which means that the wave can be consolidated. It can be showing irregular flat patterns, which is little false breakouts, bear traps, bull traps. So this is where we're at with regards to the dollar right now. Dollar's going to be real complicated over the next couple of weeks, maybe even a month or so. And that means it's going to be bouncing back and forth. So I am not looking for breakout to the upside. I'm looking for selling resistance, buying support in a dollar move. And so now I have to take this information and say, okay, well, let me take a look and see how this plays out here in the US dollar CAD. And the US dollar CAD at the moment right now, if I look over here, we did break above that significant level of support at 133 right here. We've broken through that. The market's created a wave 1, 2, 3, so which means that I'm expecting correction. So that lines up with what I'm seeing on the dollar index. Correction is due. Now, it's not a long-term correction, but it's a correction that can come back to retest 133 down here. So we can expect maybe 130 pip, maybe 150, depending where it's at tomorrow. We can expect a 150 pip downside move to back down to support. And if it breaks through that, then we could go ahead and test the wave 1 high at 132.25. So again, it all depends how the news comes, what type of number we see in tomorrow's news will be dependent on how far it can go. Now we take it back to the JPY pair that you were speaking about, right? And I look at the JPY right here, and if the dollar index is range bound, then I am not banking on a breakout right here. I'm expecting price to hold up at this level and possibly go back to retest this level of support down here again. And so it's going to be sitting in a range bound, or at least ranging for some time before we start seeing breakout. Now, I could be completely wrong, Nick, and it's not going to be the first time that happens, but that's my speculation. That's what I'm anticipating the market to do. Obviously, everything will come down to the actual number tomorrow. And if the number comes out much lower, then yes, downside move in the dollar, and we're going to go back down to support, and then we'll see what it does at that support level. But as long as the Feds are continuing to raise interest rates, we're going to see that being supported by the market, which means the market's going to continue to see some upside move in the dollar. But all this stuff that's showing that inflation is going to create additional downside pressure on the dollar, then we will see these correction moves. And then as soon as the Fed stop raising interest rates, we're going to start seeing a bigger fall in the dollar. Now, I'm not going to predict anything now until the market breaks out of the range, and then it either breaks back, breaks above or below. I'm not going to make that any predictions on that, but I can tell you this much, that it's definitely coming to a point where how the Feds handle interest rates and what happens with the inflation number is going to affect how the market's going to move over the next couple of weeks to months.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you made a really interesting point there, Gary. I want to just show you my chart markup here on the dollar index. You talked briefly about the dollar index and also just about the impact that this report will have on the dollar. And you made a mention about, of course, forecasts for year-over-year inflation are at 3.3%. Now, again, this is far better than the 9% push-in number that we saw last year. But we still, the Fed is concerned because, again, this is actually up from the previous report, which was 3%. So the forecasts right now, this is a question mark. This is the forecast. The market is kind of like, okay, inflation might actually tick up a little bit here. And so we've actually seen, as you mentioned, the dollar index has been strong. Regardless, though, with that being said, there's a lot of concern. There's a lot of push to the upside on the dollar because of this. Hey, inflation might kind of be rearing its head again. Well, as you mentioned, if we got a number like 2.9%, and all of this, right, this move was concern that inflation might tick up. If inflation ticks down, or if inflation is even just 3.1% or 3.2%. The thing is, we have all of this move to potentially correct on, right? So you had this big push up. You made this point too. This overall kind of longer term trend of the dollar has been to the downside. And yet off of this recent daily chart move, you had this big push to the upside. So it'd be really interesting to see. I would say that in the case that we get cooling inflation or less than expected, you probably see a really strong push to the downside on the US dollar index. And of course, that would lend to some upside on the indices, dollar crosses, of course, like Aussie dollar, pound dollar, euro dollar, and then of course also gold. So it'll be very interesting to see as price is kind of just rubbing up against the level of resistance here that we both got on our charts on the dollar index. So again, you kind of have to take news as this, okay, well, forecasts are one thing. As you mentioned, we don't try and forecast what's going to happen, but the market certainly is trying to. And you can see that it's very bullish on the dollar. So if there's a surprise to the downside, meaning inflation cool, dollar index probably drops like a rock. Now, if inflation is as expected or hotter than expected, there is that possibility that, we either stay kind of sideways since the market was kind of calling for that, or there's even that possibility of a breakout if we get really hot inflation, which is probably very unlikely, but still, of course, possible. And Gary, you and I are on the same page with news. We're not here to predict what the news is going to be. We're simply reacting accordingly. So I would even add, Gary, if CPI comes out, for example, like you mentioned, that 2.9%, even though, the market would almost certainly immediately sell off for the dollar, I'd be in there intraday looking for pullbacks to join that move. Because again, we've got the higher time frames, as you've mentioned, in our sights. We're looking at a longer term kind of, overall downward trend on the dollar. I think it could be really interesting. If let's just say, Gary, that inflation comes out tomorrow and it's cooler than expected, what's the first chart you look at? What are you looking at to potentially trade?
Well, I go straight in because I've already anticipated what I'm looking for on the dollar index. So if that inflation number comes out, let's say weaker or higher, depending, I'll go straight to the currency pairs that I'm focused on. I'm focused on US dollar CAD. I'm focused on Euro US dollar. I don't trade. And let me tell you a short story. Back last year, around the early parts of last year, when we had a strong move in the JPY, JPY crosses. It got me stuck in a few positions. I managed to get out of those positions it took me about a year to get out of those positions. And I'm like, oh, wow. I am not going to trade JPY crosses anymore. I'm done with that. So I don't trade JPYs, but I certainly will go take a look at US dollar CAD, Euro US dollar, pound US dollar. Those are the three US dollar crosses that and then that's it. Those three are probably the main three US dollar crosses that I pay attention to. And so going to your JPY pair that you looked at, I'm already looking at this and saying, if I traded US dollar JPY, it would be a downside move because we got this bearish crown right here setting up. And I also note that the market did create this wave 1, 2, 3 up here, 4 down here, and this is 5. We've already taken out the wave 4, which means that we should actually take out the high and continue to rally. Downside move. Then at least short term, we're looking at bearish dollar. And then depending on the dollar index, if the dollar index shows that we are heading into a downtrend, then we're probably going to see the US dollar JPY drop back down to 132 and change. So it's like, if the dollar's selling off, go to the currency pairs that you're trading that are traded against the dollar, and go ahead and look at the technical setup, because each one of them will have their own sort of structure. And then based on that, go ahead and start following the momentum.
Yep. No, I love that. And you made a good point there. At the end of the day, everybody who's watching this stream, you should all have, your own trading plans, your own charts that you trade. And that's why I asked Gary, which charts he would look at, because again, you ask two different traders, which charts are you looking at for CPI? You're going to get probably two different answers, and that's okay, right? There's many different ways to trade the currencies, the indices, the gold market, whatever you're trading, right? Understanding how the news will impact your trade, and being aware, even if you don't use fundamentals to try and really look for setups, you should be very well aware of fundamentals in the sense of, is this actually going to be meaningful to my trade? Is this really going to impact me? Because I got news for you. If you don't use fundamentals, but you're watching the Australian dollar tomorrow, you'd be blindsided if you didn't know what CPI was and why it is meaningful to the markets, right? So you have to be very careful with that stuff. So fundamentals are important. Even if you don't use them to make decisions, you should at least be aware so that you're not blindsided by them when they, when news drops, right? When the numbers, the figures kind of drop to hit the charts. Gary, I want to just say thank you for coming on the show here today. I know you're a busy guy just like myself, so I won't keep you any longer. But before you do go, I just want to let everybody know, if you guys have not already subscribed to Gary and his YouTube content, he also has a great channel that you guys can check out, the Traders Network Club, as well as FX Big Dog. You've got two channels. Make sure to subscribe to both guys. It's great free value, and that's again why we bring Gary onto the show as well. He's a contributor to the show each week, and we do appreciate it on the producer team side. So Gary, thank you for coming on. Everybody, make sure to go subscribe to Gary, and Gary, we'll see you back next week for some more ideas.
Thank you, Nick. Have a good one, buddy. God bless.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. All right. And that is Gary, ladies and gentlemen. Always good to have Gary on. I was down last week in Florida, which is where Gary is from. He mentioned he's down in Clearwater, which is awesome. I was down in Destin area, which was beautiful last week, and I'm missing it a little bit, but at the same time, not really. I love trading and being in the markets. Let's be so honest. But the beach is always nice too. It's kind of that constant balance. And there is one thing I will say: I hate trading while at the beach. It's really not something I love to do, right? Because I'm kind of in vacation mode, and I don't really want to sit and look at charts, and I definitely don't want to do the whole sit on your laptop lifestyle by the pool. That is just. That sounds terrible. Does anybody like actually sitting at the pool with a laptop out? It's so sunny, you can't even see your laptop screen. I'd rather just trade, do my work when I'm working, which is, my trading, the live streams, the YouTube stuff, and then vacation, and really in vacation as much as you can. So anyways, that's another tangent from yours truly. Frank is still in this oil trade. Congrats to Frank. He caught this move yesterday inside of our VIP group. Caught it at 80.80, which is right around here. Frank is still in that trade, which is exploding higher. So shout out to Frank on that one. Again, his entry is over here. We shared a little bit of a preview with that. There is his trade. He bought oil yesterday. If you guys are just tuning into the stream, Frank was joining us earlier. You guys can rewind the stream if you want to watch what he had to say about his oil trade. Remember, guys, get 25% off if you message us right now. The stream is ending, so message us right now if you have not already to get 25% off of our VIP group by clicking the link that's being dropped in the chat right now. Again, you get 25% off. We do have one-time membership options, meaning you don't have to pay us monthly. You don't have to, you pay your ticket to get into the group. You're in there. You can trade with us, chat with us, ask your questions, join our coaching webinars. It is packed full of value, and I'm very confident that you would get plenty of value relative to the price that you pay to join our community, which is led by our awesome team here at A1 Trading. So message us to join. Again, get that 25% off before it ends. And thank you guys for tuning into the live stream. Have a great day. We'll see you back next time.
And that concludes today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to keep you up to date with the latest market coverage through our daily videos and articles. If you like our content, make sure to subscribe for more. You can get funded today up to $200K with FX2 funding. Use our code A1Trading15 for a special discount. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.